doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and
Just
run
a
it all back. I'm
motherfucking
the
jump.
new era, about to
Just
snap
go.
back. You ain't fitting.
And going we are. It is Monday morning here in Arizona. Whatever time it is where you're at, we're just happy you're with us. Thank you very much. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy, and the other fucking guy in the room is Leo. Leo, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. A beautiful day, by the way. Beautiful day outside.
It is a beautiful
Ooh.
day.
Gotta love Arizona around this time of year.
It doesn't get better than this.
I agree, man. I agree. How you doing, Troy?
Man, we've had a good weekend and just an incredible morning already. Just absolutely incredible. And so I probably should start with that before I get into sports and get off track and talking about other shit. Because this was a big deal to me. So last week I mentioned I wanted to do something because I saw that a number of people are still posting about the government shutdown and SNAP benefits and all this kind of stuff. And, oh, my tax dollars this and my tax dollars that. And half of these motherfuckers posting about the damn tax dollars don't pay shit in taxes anyways because they don't make enough money to pay taxes. But they got an opinion on their $500 they pay in taxes, whatever that is. And I'm not, anyways. So the thing is, I like to put my money where my mouth is. I used to donate time and money to feeding the less fortunate with my big sister. We used to put on these big meals at church on the south side of Toledo. And anybody could come. If you were hungry, if you needed a hot plate of food, you were welcome. And we did that for, we tried to hit the holidays, and then we tried to do it as many months as we could. But it used to take a couple grand, and it used to take, a fair number of people to show up to help, do the dishes, cook the potatoes, peel the potatoes, and I participated in that too. So I donated money, and I also donated my time, and just loved doing that, and just some great, fantastic people. Well, I'm not somebody who thinks that it's the government's job. I don't. It's not the government's job, but the government is taking on that job anyways. It's not really in our Constitution for our government to take money from one person and put it in somebody else's pocket by force. By force. That's not supposed to be a thing, but it is. And when especially people on the liberal side like to point out what Christians should be doing, or, I kind of, I have a little bit of a hardness to me. I realize that. But it doesn't mean I don't have sympathy, doesn't mean I don't have empathy, doesn't mean I don't care. I absolutely do care. I care about people changing their lives, and the only way their life's going to change is based on what they decide to do, whenever they decide to do it. Nobody can make that happen. It's no different than addiction. It doesn't matter until the addict decides that he wants to sincerely make a change. So I believe in that God says that we should do it. He doesn't tell us in the Bible to give money to the government, so your local government or your leaders of wherever you live or country you live in, so that they can do it. It's up to us. And so, again, I wanted to put my money where my mouth is. I first researched to find some food banks in the area here. And the one that I found most interesting was Father McGivney's. I think Dawn called, left a message. I called. And then I actually got through to the director last week. And I told him what I was thinking of doing, that, going to Costco and buying some cases of food. And I, thought that would be great. Well, they actually buy their food from this U.S. food bank. and they have the ability to get some items at 6 cents a pound and canned goods and things like that, non-perishables at 12 cents a pound. That's a lot of stuff for 12 cents. Okay, 12 cents a pound. That's a lot. And so I was like, I wanted this to have the biggest impact. So if it's better for me to hand you the money, I'll hand you the money instead of going to Costco. I mean, to me, that was just a good thought of mine, but that doesn't mean my first thought was the best thing to do. And so we set up a time to meet this morning when the truck first arrived, and we got there right at 8 o'clock. And I was just blown away, man. Just blown away at how big it was already, how many people were there volunteering. And apparently they were a little shorthanded, but the number of people volunteering, I don't know, had to be over 50 people that I saw this morning, I bet. It was seriously a good number of people. And they have a system. And I'd never done anything like this. So I was really amazed. So it's Father McGivney is the name of the food bank. And it's done at the Our Lady of Guadalupe. That's what it is, Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. And they directed us. I asked for Robert, and they directed us pretty quickly and tracked him down. And he was a very, very nice, very sincere man who's been doing this for 16 years. 16 years, and they never shut. They're open 24/7, and they never shut. And the only week they take off is between Christmas and New Year. That's it. Yeah, you got your mic turned on?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There he is. Yeah, 1 week. That's what they take off, man. That's it. And so I got a little bit of a video of him talking to the group before they started with the cars and passing it out. They have a whole system, and there was a parking lot behind, and they've had overflow, so that they've had to ask the city for this space that was behind them to be able to use that space.
Okay.
Because they were flowing over into other areas. And they have a very tight system of what they do. And the people who get the food never get out of their car. You get in this line, and then the lines are released as they can be taken as they get there. And they're going to file through, and they're going to get boxes of food, like 3 different boxes. They're going to get, some baked goods. They're going to get some fresh foods. They're going to get, some treats as well.
Growing up, we used to go and do this a lot. So
yeah,
I'm actually pretty familiar with this.
I was surprised how much fresh food was there. I'm pleasantly pleased to see how much fresh food there was there. And, I know buying the fresh food, it's man, that shit, paying for it at the store, we're lucky if it lasts 3 or 4 days. And we put it in these tubs to keep it fresh, and it's still a struggle. I don't know why the fruit hasn't been keeping a little bit longer, but it hasn't. But I was still really pleasantly surprised at the meat products they had, and that it, just
they had like meats and stuff like that?
Yeah, they give meat, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right. I'm telling you, man, I've never seen anything like this. So this is the picture, one of the pictures. And it goes way to the left of this. Is that the video?
No, this is the video. Yeah.
Is that the video? Yeah, go ahead and show that. It's like 9 seconds. I kind of do a sweep of the parking. Look at that. All of those people are waiting for food, dude. All of them.
I honestly, when you first sent me the picture, I thought that was the pictures of the workers.
No, that's what I thought too when I pulled up, man. Yeah, that's all of the people waiting. And
That's
more
crazy.
will come.
That is a lot of people.
Right? Absolutely it was. A lot of people. And that was Robert telling us that. And I took this picture so you could see, the different boxes that they put together there. And, water, there's a little bit of milk, a little bit of juice. Now, they don't pay for the perishables. The perishables are given to them from Fry's and other places, instead of throwing it out. And then the workers make sure that the stuff is still good, that it's still healthy, that it's not rotted or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, dude, the system is
I was
just
about to say, it's a better church
phenomenal.
than the one I grew up going to.
Dude, I'm telling you. And what was really interesting was when we were talking in the one building that handles a lot of the heavy stuff that's moved in and moved out.
Okay.
That it's the place that not a lot of people want to volunteer at.
Yeah.
It's the room because it's where all the heavy lifting and stuff is done. But there was a young, strapping young man in there. Had been. I talked to him for a minute. He said he'd been doing it for about a year and a half. And you know where he came from? He came from that parking lot. He was in that parking lot receiving food, and now he's working, helping other people get food, doing that, volunteering, not getting paid, volunteering, man, and doing labor. It's like heavy. Yeah, you could get $20 an hour for that at Fry's. You know what I mean? Yeah, but he's volunteering. I couldn't believe that, dude. And the nicest bunch of people, just so fantastic. The volunteers. Yeah. And then you show Robert a minute. There's a longer video. I don't want to show a whole bunch of that video, but
Did not send me that video.
I didn't send you that one. Okay,
I only got
that's my bad.
The 9-second one.
Well, he talked to the group before they started distributing. Everybody gathered around, and he's standing on a milk crate.
Okay.
And then I was I wasn't expecting him to introduce us, but he did. And they were very nice about what we were doing there and, donating some money. And then he called because we did get a little attention because we're pretty fit. Mm-hmm. So I was Hercules and Dawn was Hercules' girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I knew Dawn wouldn't want to really talk. And he asked me to speak to the group then.
Nice.
And I was surprised, but I'm good like that. I can do that on an instant. Somebody asked me, you know what I mean? I'm good on the fly. And I did. And I told them what I've said here, that, I wanted to do something good and thought about going to Costco, but Robert had a better idea that we could make a better impact by giving them money that they could buy from the U.S. Food Bank.
Yeah.
And that it's our job as Christians. It's our job to do these things, to take care of our neighbors and not the government's. And the government shutdown is, if that doesn't give you enough reason to understand why you don't want to rely on the government, I don't know whatever will. But to me, that just shows you just how terrible it can be, that because people want to use other people as pawns or leverage. Look, the Democrats have come out and said it. This is the only leverage we have. We got run over in the big, beautiful bill, and we want some of those things back, even things that are crazy. This isn't just about health insurance and health insurance premiums. This is also about the fact that we're shutting down the government anyways, the federal government, giving money to NPR or, programs like that. Back when that kind of shit first started, you had like maybe 4 stations that you could get on your TV. And public television was, the last on the list. And you didn't have the choices that you have today to get information out. And honestly, 85% of the money that those stations get are from donations and things. It's not from the federal government. So it's not like they're going to go away. Maybe some of them will, but it's just people's tax dollars are not going to go towards that, which it really doesn't need to. That's, just my 2 cents on it. But they wanted to get that funding back, or USAID funding, or these other things they lost. So they're basically holding this clean CR, which simply means that the Republicans haven't put anything in here to try to slip one over on the Democrats. The only added extra besides just paying the government's bills that's in there is there's some additional money. I think it's around $80-90 million or so. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't a great deal of money. Maybe it was 800 million. I don't know off the top of my head, but it was money for security for members of Congress and judges and things because, well, we needed to do that because of all the threats that both sides have been getting now from nut jobs. But that's the only, and nobody's against that being in there. I mean, because the people who would be against it would be the people who's going to benefit from it, which are going to be your lawmakers. So they're all for that, right? All for it. But that's it. There's no slipping something else in there. The Republicans aren't trying to slip some project. You know, they used to do those pork barrel things that they all used to tag on to things that you really had to pass. None of that's in this. It's just hey, the government is going to, if we don't, because they haven't done a budget, dude. And I don't know if you've been aware of this or not, or how many people are. I don't think they've passed a budget since like 1999. Like a complete budget at the beginning of the year. So it's all that. So for 25 years, we've done this piecemeal budgeting that we've been doing to fund the government. And it's just, that's not doing your job. It's not. It's not doing the priorities. It's not cutting things that we can't afford. It's just not doing the job. But they're holding people's benefits, SNAP benefits, workers who are, many of which are still working and not getting paid for it right now, holding them hostage. And that's the situation we find ourselves in right now. And there you go, relying on government. Now, all of these politicians, they're getting their money. And if you'd like, we'd love to know what your thoughts are. Drop your thoughts in the comments. You can also reach me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X. Check those accounts out as well. I've been very, very active. And I've also been banned on TikTok and had to open a new account, and I'll get to that later. But anyways, so we were there. So I talked to the group and basically said what I've told you, that I think God put it upon us to help others. And we did that. And I don't know, he really made me feel like that the $1,000 was a good gift and made a difference. You know?
I mean,
I don't know how much most people
like
give.
You said
you know?
earlier, like what, 6 cents, 60 cents? What do you say?
6 cents and 12 cents a pound.
Like, and you gave him like $1,000. That's
how many pounds? Divide 6 cents into that $1,000 and how many pounds of food that you can get, or 12 cents. Just do it at 12 so it makes it easier, and see how many pounds of food you can buy for that. And, you know, instead of, you know, me going to Costco and getting a half a pallet, it's going to mean a few pallets for them that they can pull off that truck, you know? And, you know, I did what I could do. I don't have time right at this time to also give, but you give what you can. You do what you can. In my case, it's giving the money. In other cases, it might be donating your time. And in other cases, you might be able to do both. And I know Dawn used to do some things like that back in Missouri. And so she was really, I was just shocked by how efficient the operation was and how wonderful the people were. Oh, there's this young man, as he's taking me around, there's this young man that, because they were talking about us lifting and being bodybuilders and stuff, he had a little protein brownie in his pocket, and he offered it to me. I'm like, dude, I really super appreciate it. I get it, but that was just his way of, you know, showing thanks. Yeah. But I didn't want to take his protein. He goes, well, I don't lift. I'm like, you still need protein. It was just so nice. It was just so nice. And I don't know why things happen the way they do, but I always know that things happen for a reason, and you don't always know it at the time. And I think there might be some other things that they could use. One is space, maybe another building somewhere they don't have, and they don't have the money for. But, if there's a way, it's, we believe in the same God, that God will find a way. And I believe that God puts us in positions and puts people in our lives that we can make an impact. And, I want to make a greater impact. And so this was my way of doing that. And I don't think I'm special. I'm not looking for a pat on the back from anyone. That's not why I do it, but if you don't do these things, people assume, if you don't say that you do these things, people assume that you're not. And then if you do say that you do these things, well, then you're just looking for attention. And honestly, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, because it doesn't matter. It's between me and my God and whoever I decide to help. And that's what we did today. So it just great. This gave us a little pamphlet, but Robert Varela, he's the director. We might do a little something with him, have him on for maybe a short segment or do something with him, just to put the word out there. And that's what I think happens, that, his connection with me might lead to another connection of somebody else who can do something that maybe even that I can't do, but do something good for this wonderful group of people. Now, they also mentioned to me that they also partner with the LDS as well. And
I don't know what the LDS. Oh, the Mormons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Mormons are big here. Big.
Fortunately.
And he said that the one thing that they have their own thing that they do as well, but their youth, at some point they have to volunteer so much, and so that they send people to help there, which is great. But one of the things that they don't do at this food bank is, they're not trying to hook you in. They're just trying to do God's work and bless somebody. They're not trying to convince somebody, about their specific sect or religion, kind of a thing. That they help anybody who needs help. And this being in Queen Creek, because Queen Creek is not, I would consider Queen Creek one of the more affluent suburbs around the Phoenix area. Yeah, fairly. Yeah. We got all of a handful of streets that, I think are not at the center of town, maybe not so well, but for the most part, but they don't have any limits. You can come from anywhere around here and get in line, and if you need food, they're going to feed you. And I know they have something coming up for Thanksgiving too, and so that'll probably be the next thing I do is I think they get 500 people, something like that. So
They give up to 500 people?
Oh, dude,
Or are you saying
last
that
week last week they had about 2,000 people they fed through the week that came and got boxes. 2,000.
Yeah, but what were you referring to?
And then what I'm referring to is how many turkeys they.
Oh, they're giving out 500 turkeys?
Something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So maybe I'll go buy 100 turkeys or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Maybe
yeah.
Probably can get 100 turkeys for $1,000 again or something like that.
I'm sure you can get a little bit more than
I don't know.
turkey. I don't know what a turkey goes for, but I'm sure
probably around 50 cents a pound. I don't know. But yeah, I think they do it like right before Thanksgiving and then right after. They have like 2 days that they do that, and it's just kind of the way things kind of fall that they do that. So yeah, we're gonna figure out something that we're gonna continue this relationship somehow and do. And it's really funny because when this first hit me, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but when this first hit me, I was thinking, yeah, when he first told me, about I think even before I talked to him, somehow I had $500 in my head, going to Costco. And that number, I don't even know how the number changed in my head, but somehow God changed that number in my head from 500 to 1,000 really fucking quickly. And I just went with it, you know, and blessed to be able to do that. And just like I said, wonderful, wonderful people. And they did get some video and some pictures. So hopefully we'll have that. We'll post that up later in the week and maybe on my other social media too. Because the other social media, again, hit the follow button here, hit the subscribe button here, share the show, share some of our clips and shorts. But you can hit us up on Instagram. You can hit us up on Facebook, TikTok, X. You know, we're trying to grow these platforms. And I really believe, and you and I even talked about it. I don't know why, because I expect it's going to take more time, but I see some breakthroughs coming. That's what I think.
We've been, this past month and a half, we've been growing at a much quicker rate than but I guess that was because I was struggling to keep up with a lot of stuff. But now that we're back in order, I think we have been growing a little bit quicker now.
Yeah, it all comes together. It all comes together. I'm going to get better because it's my goal to get better at this, and I do have some experience in my past about this. So that's I wanted to share that. So if you want to help, if instead of just the government this and Republicans that and Democrats this, instead of that, just do what you can do. And you know, I realize that a good number of people, a good percentage that they say, I don't know, 40, 50% even, that a good number of people, you know, they don't have $500 to $1,000 in their bank account if some emergency happens. And so I realized that giving $1,000 isn't within everyone's means, but your time, you might have some of that to give. And especially if you're receiving, like that young man, I just think that's fantastic. Somebody that's been on the receiving end also giving. Or it might be $50, man. It might just be 50 or a 20. They can stretch that and take that a long way. And I'm glad that I know more about it and took the time to do that this morning before. So that's why we were running about 10, 15 minutes late getting started. We do try to start on Monday, Wednesday, Friday on our live broadcast at around 9 o'clock. So it was a little bit later. I was pulling in at 9:05, and we got on as quickly as we could get settled and get going here. But it was absolutely worth it. And it just was so meaningful for me today and to share that with Dawn as well. And I know it meant something to her. So just that's what we did, man. Do what you can do. Stop looking for the government to save you, man. Not a thing. There's a lot of other people out there willing to do good things. And that really made me feel good too. The number of people that were there volunteering, just good people doing this. Wow. That you want to feel good and be grateful because maybe you haven't been feeling grateful. You see that many cars out there that need food, and then you see the volunteers and what they're all doing. And they all thanked us as he took us around. I mean, like, he gave us the full tour of the whole thing, man. It was really great. And I appreciate Roberts taking his time doing that. And 16, almost 17 years, something like that, 16, 17 years he's been doing it.
A very long time.
Yeah. That's something. That is something. And wow. So meaningful. So meaningful. All right. So we got other things to go hit today. Little bit of sports here. The World Series. Did you?
I was watching in a room full of Dodgers fans. I was the only person going against them.
You know what? I don't know why I didn't know this. I thought all sports had moved from the 2-3-2 concept to the 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah.
And baseball has not. So the first two games, because Toronto had the better record, were in Toronto. Mm-hmm. And then the middle three were in LA. And then the last two, you're back to Toronto. I don't really like that. To me, it puts a team at a disadvantage because if you're the team that's going to have 3 in the middle, all you're hoping for is to get one of those first 2 and then get to your house and protect your house, you know? But I was surprised that they don't do that because, I don't know, basketball does. I thought most of them had changed to that. Football, you don't really worry about it. That's not a thing. Football has their own other problems, especially college football. They got to fix this where, you know, where the first round of games, there's home games for the teams. That should be that way in the quarterfinals too. So just in the semifinals, which you would have 2 semifinal games, and then your championship, those could be bowl games and that people travel to. Like, it just is not, to make fans, it's just hard. I just think it's hard to expect people to spend that kind of money to do that, to travel for that many games. You're going to pick and choose, or you're going to say, I'm going to go to this game if my team makes it, and not the earlier games, and then they may not make it. And I don't know. I just don't think it's a great way to set things up. But phenomenal World Series. Just, it was. Each of the games, you know, so close. And hometown boy from just outside of Toledo, Chris Bassett. We were watching a little bit of pregame before Game 7, and Derek Jeter was talking about Chris Bassett for a second. And I thought, man, think about that. How cool that is that, yeah, you're a major league ball player, and Chris has had a great career. Sub a Hall of Fame career, but a great career nonetheless. Because when you make it, and he had to work his way up from the very, very bottom, and you make it, and you're still playing when you're 36 years old, you're having a good career, really, really good. But to have a Hall of Famer like Derek Jeter, that just would, I don't know why it hit me. It just kind of hit me. Yeah, Derek Jeter mentioned my name, man. That's pretty damn fucking cool. And I was happy for him. He got to pitch in the game. And he got to pitch in like 3 games actually, and did pretty well.
Was he one of the people that he had 2 hits, 1 error?
Yep.
Was it one of the home runs or no?
No. Those were on opposite sides of him. But he did he really, really did good. And I think I don't know how long his contract is for here or what's going to happen there, but a lot of people would love to see him be in Detroit next year for the end of his, for the last couple years of his career, because it's a short drive for the hometown people. They'd like to see that. So, but I don't know what he wants or what he's interested in, but man, that's a good team. And, that one, probably the Game 6, the wedge ball, that was kind of.
Oh, okay.
That probably was a game changer there. That if the rules had been different, or if and it's on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I was about to say it's their rule.
Well, it's how they design the field,
Yeah.
because it's not like football or basketball where everybody plays on the same amount of square feet or footage and things like that. And what they would need to do is put like a hard piece of plastic at the bottom, that kind of dug into the ground a little bit, but would protect it. So if a ball hit at the bottom, it's going to bounce away and can't get wedged in there,
Yeah.
But that's on them. Maybe they'll do that now, because that might have been the play that cost them the World Series. Yeah, because they could have taken it in Game 6. That changed that game, man. And just it was fun to watch. And then, to no one's surprise, it goes into extra innings in Game 7 again. Wow. And it really reminded me a lot of the Indians-Cub series about 9 years ago. Yeah.
That was a while back.
Yeah, it was a little while back. But just one of those instant classics, just phenomenal. And that, we go to a few games. I'm not as big a baseball fan as I am football or even basketball, to be truthful. But that's the kind of thing that makes you want to watch that series like that. And seeing what Otani, just watching history. I love watching history. And to me, it's like getting a chance, you know. I know a lot about sports history, read a lot about sports history, and that was my experience going back to things, you know, prior to the 60s, because I was born in 68. So, you know, I got to see some of the greats like Nolan Ryan, Reggie Jackson, just some greats. But I did get to see Babe Ruth, you know, or players like that. And today, I don't know. I just feel like Otani's like that Babe Ruth level of greatness. That even he's at the upper end of the Hall of Famers kind of thing, on a whole different level of greatness, and getting to see that. And they're not perfect. They never are. And baseball isn't about being a perfect game. But it was interesting. It was a great World Series, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it. So that's all good. Football, college football, holy shit, man. Just, again, the upsets. Just crazy winners and losers this weekend. And, of course, that led to more coaches being fired. I believe Auburn's coach got fired, so another SEC coach goes down. And there's probably a couple more on the chopping block. And they're even talking about Miami's coach being on the chopping block, and his contract would be like a $60 million buyout. I'm kind of over that, and I've said that before. Man, that's hard for people to understand. It just is. I'm all for capitalism, but that's one hard to really stomach or understand there. Yeah, look at it, just what you even pulled up, you know. Tennessee had previously been ranked ahead of some teams. I thought Vanderbilt was going to pull that out over Texas. That was a good game. Colorado got waxed again, like badly. I don't know what's going to happen with my guy Dion, you know. I love Dion. I like what he was doing there in Colorado, but as far as the winning and losing, they're going in the wrong direction. They made steps each of his first 2 years, and they seem to be going backwards. And the same problem that his son had playing quarterback, no offensive line. Well, the kid back there now, all he's doing is running around like crazy. Just bad. I figured the Ohio State, Penn State would roll that way. You know, Ohio State hasn't played a lot of really good teams, but they're winning really strongly, just like Indiana did. You know, Maryland's not good, and you should beat them 55-10, and they did. And they did it at Maryland. You know, after a little while, you know, teams kind of target you. You know, Dawn's Purdue is not real good. And Michigan has a way of playing down to their opponent's level, I think, this year. So a lot of that going on. But just, you know, my big key takeaway from college football this weekend was just, again, more upsets and more talk of these coaches being fired. I don't know how it's going to work out in the coming years because, you know, probably the lowest thing that you reward people for would be getting to bowl games. But you only have to have 6-7 wins to get into a bowl game. So you can be very, very mediocre. You can be 6-5 and get into a bowl game, or 6-6 or whatever. And that can happen. You're not real good, but you're playing in some Alabama bowl, and you know there's 20,000 people in the stands or whatever it is. And then after that, you know, it really was going to be about, and now it used to be about getting into be one of the Final Four teams to compete for the national championship. And now it's getting into the playoffs. So if a team
just downgrading more and more.
Yeah, if a team consistently gets in the top 12, you would think the coach would be fairly safe. You would think. Yeah, because like not everybody, you can't. I don't know. You just can't expect that many schools to just be that good. Everybody wants their alma mater to be good. These donors, these alumni donating this money. But what a shit ton of money you got if you really can't complain, honestly, about paying the college players, because if you can let coaches go that you owe $50 million or so to, you can pay the players, right? I mean, it just seems right. Now, ain't nobody coming to watch the coach. I always say, referees ruin games, coaches lose games, and players win games. That used to be my feelings on the whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely you can't say that that's a strain. Now, I think they are making some changes or have made some changes to when the windows are going to be open and things like that, as far as transfers and stuff, because it's just became so ridiculous. But paying the players, yeah, if you got $50 million to cash somebody out, you got that, then you have the money to pay the players. Even if some of the players that never see the field, getting 50 grand or something. Oh, but they should be grateful for the education. Man, you just do not get it if you think that's the case. That's just not the thing. It's great that they get that, but they were being used and taken advantage of, and now they're getting a part of that. And I'm all for that, and just making the whole system better. I'm also for changing the way this coaching thing is going too. Something's got to be done. Like, I don't know, maybe you get half or something. I don't know, but that's up to the schools and the contracts. If you don't give them the contracts, you set the standard. And the problem is, once one school sets a standard that breaks whatever that ceiling is, then everybody else has to match. That's what happens. I don't know if that's for the best, but kind of crazy. All right, so I have some other things I wanted to get to, but that was my morning and my sports for the weekend, pretty much, except the Steelers. My Steelers won. The defense actually showed the fuck up. They've been missing, and the players were taking a lot of heat on social media from their own fans. Steelers. A lot of heat, yeah. Like, we have expectations too, This was supposed to be a win now type of thing, and that's the reason you decided that with the defense that we had, why you wanted to take a gamble on somebody like Rodgers for the chance to win now instead of rebuilding, say, the next 3 years. And Rodgers has done as good as you could expect him to do. I hate the play calling on offense, to be honest. And the defense that I was expecting is the defense that showed up yesterday. And they should have won by more, actually. And they beat a very good team, because the Colts are a very good team, and I still expect the Colts to win that division. And that's the AFC South, I believe. Because you have Texas, the Colts, the Titans, and whoever the fourth one is off the top of my head. But the Colts are a good team. And the fact that they had 6 turnovers, was it Jaguars? Yep. And the fact that they had 6 turnovers and got that game within 7 points, that's hard to do. You should have gotten blown out. Just some weird things happened at the beginning of the game and play calls, and but Pittsburgh turned it on pretty quickly after about midway through the first period. So that was good to see. And our Cardinals play tonight. They play the Cowboys. My expectations are very low for that, meaning I have no expectations. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are wasting Dak Prescott. He's actually not getting the kind of mentions that he should this year, because the team is not performing all that great. But as an individual, he's having a pretty solid fucking year as a quarterback, a top year. He's doing very well. So we'll see what happens with that tonight. But I think Jacoby Brissett is going to be back at quarterback. I thought Kyler Murray might be back by now, but apparently not. Apparently not. So we'll be watching that. I'll represent for the Cardinals today. Just not expecting anything because it's best not to. That's what I've learned. That's what I've learned. So yeah, and if what you just pulled up, if maybe he might be traded, if they're looking at dumping him already at the offseason, how much does he even want to play then? You want to get hurt?
Again.
Yeah, you want to get hurt? Or you want to just be like, I'm good.
Get your money.
I
go
need to
somewhere
recover
else.
out. Yeah. It might not be that smart for him to play much more.
I don't think so. As much as it sucks to say.
I agree.
It'd be smart, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So I have a couple other things politically that I wanted to get to, but before I do that, I guess the one I'm going to fill in here is just something that's been annoying me lately. There's a couple people that I've been following or that I don't follow them, but maybe I watched their stupid video too long and I watched it because it was so stupid. So then the algorithm thinks I want those kind of videos. So it's sending me more of these idiot fitness influencers doing some of the dumbest shit that I've ever seen. And yeah, we'll do this one first. Let's check this one out. So this guy has pulled up a bench up to a Smith machine. He's angled it. Dude, if this isn't the dumbest fucking move I've ever seen, there is no reason to do this move. None. And if I was in a gym and saw somebody, if I owned a gym and I saw somebody doing this, they would either have to stop or I'm kicking them out of the gym. That's how dumb this is. There's just no reason to do this move at all. You're not getting any kind of benefit for your legs that you can't get some other easy and legitimate way. Way different than that. Did I only send you the one?
No, I thought I had another one.
Yeah, I thought there was another one too. And while you're looking for that one, I'll mention the TikTok ban. Not real happy with that. So this has happened to me twice now. And what happened to me some years ago is I wasn't on TikTok. I had a TikTok account and I wasn't using it. And that must have been around 2016 because it was around the election. And that year, I got like 6 different 30-day bans on Facebook. So I was banned from posting on Facebook for like six months, man. And sometimes I would be off a ban for a week and I'd be banned again for 30 days because of conservative posts that I put up. And Facebook was different then. Facebook has actually gotten much better than it was and not quite censoring that kind of shit anymore. But anyways, that's what happened. And one of Charisse, who was my barber at the time, she was really, really good. She'd mentioned to me when I was in getting my head shaved down to a 1. She said, I haven't seen you on Facebook. What's going on? I'm like, I'm banned again. She goes, man, you got to get on TikTok. And somebody, Dawn actually found the video. One of the first videos I ever did on TikTok was like me and Charisse doing some TikTok dance at the time. That was a thing. And we did that, but it was on a fake account. Somebody had that video. They had like 40 or 50 videos of me on this fake Outlaw. It's called Outlaw Apostle 1 account. And it's just funny because it's not me. And it's just weird. Like I'm kind of nobody. Who am I that you want to use my videos and make fake accounts? And some of them, not all of them, but I think some of them they've actually set up these accounts to rip people off, which is super, super frustrating. Just super frustrating. Yeah, it was out there. Yeah, that's it. That's the account. That's not me. And it goes back to some of my earliest videos. Yeah, I'm way back there. But yeah, the one with the shirt off, that's was like a little while after my first competition. Yeah, I thought somewhere in there was the dance one. Maybe not. Maybe it was on a different one. But anyways, so I got on TikTok and everything exploded for me from there. I did well. I built up to 15,000 people, which 15,000 people by today's standards doesn't seem like a lot, but there were 15,000 really good fucking people. And if I'd have had that count today, it probably would be 50,000. You know, I built because it's been a few years since that one got banned, and I had to start completely over. And on this account, again, I didn't lose any existing clients because it's just how I met people was through the social media and using it to build a business. And so it worked like tremendously for me. I'm always promoting to small businesses to doing this kind of stuff. So I was just about to be hitting 4,000 pretty soon on TikTok. And, you know, sometimes people can say some really shitty things and TikTok doesn't care. That's how I felt. That if it was said to me, and if I responded to that person in a similar manner, I'm the one that got banned, which made no sense. Or I would have videos taken down that were just informational because I was talking about semaglutide or something like that. It's like, what? Like, this is legal. I'm talking about something that's legal here and sharing with people things they want to know so that they use it correctly, and you take the video down. And I would appeal it every time, and sometimes they'd get restored and sometimes not. But a lot of times, once they would restore it, dude, I would get no views. Let me tell you a really crazy time that happened once. So, you know, previous relationship, the two boys went into the Marines and the Air Force. And when the one graduated from the Air Force, I was there for his graduation. And I took some video of their marching that they did just like prior to the whole graduation process and the announcements, everything they did. That's all it was, dude. I put it up. TikTok took it down. Me showing United States Air Force graduation march. And they took it down. It's like, if that isn't the most unpatriotic shit you've ever heard in your life, like, what in the world? Because you got on TikTok, let me just say, you got guys being assholes and women being whores. You just do. And that's okay. But me showing a graduation gets taken down.
I'm not quite sure what I did with that video because I remember watching it this morning.
Which one?
The one about the woman like showing around the proper like lifting things or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking about. The second one that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's okay.
It disappeared. So
let's show this one. So I was surprised on Friday that my account got banned. And I appealed it first. First, they pulled the videos, 2 of them, and then I appealed it. My appeals got denied, and then they banned me permanently. I got notices for being banned permanently. And it makes no sense to me. So I made a new account on Saturday, and the AI said I was a dumbass afterwards for doing this, but I posted the same video again, and I guess they have a way that they track that shit. So it got pulled again, but this time when I appealed it, they put it back up. The problem is now it's got like 10 views. So yeah, it's not banned. They put it back up, but they restricted people from seeing it. And is that what this is here? Is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
And so this is the video. You tell me your opinion, drop it in the comments, what you think of me getting banned permanently on TikTok or that account. You know, I made another account and already trying to add people. And if you used to follow me on TikTok before, follow me now. Let's build this back up quickly because I just can't believe it. It pisses me off. But this was, and I posted this other places. I also posted this on X and other places, so no other format had a problem with this video. Go ahead.
Taking place, whether it be poker games or anything else. Don't just look at the players. Look at who they're connected to. In my heart of hearts,
this
I
isn't
firmly
it.
believe, rather, there's no way they would be remote.
Sure.
Yep, this isn't it.
And wrong. And
I must have sent you the wrong one, or I didn't send it to you.
No,
It's
but
a different Trump one.
I thought it was this
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, because it didn't have Stephen A. in it. And I'm talking about the Epstein files. It's the one where I say they're protecting someone. At the caption you put, they're protecting someone, and it isn't Trump. That's the video caption.
I'm pretty sure you say that at the end of this video as well.
That might be.
I think that's
there's a couple
maybe
of-
why I mistook it for that
Yeah.
one.
Let's see. Not any of those. And that was one, but that's not it either. Crazy. My bad. Should have sent that. But yeah, it was it's really insane. Because I talk about the Epstein files. And I don't really say anything terrible. Yeah, it is somebody's being protected. Here, I got it right here. I'll send it to you right now. We'll get that puppy right up there. All right, I sent it. You had the right hat and shirt, though.
Okay.
It's from that group. Yeah, man. It's just so frustrating. But you know what? I'm gonna complain about it for a minute, but while I'm complaining, I'm moving on and building again. They're just circumstances, they're just obstacles which are just meant to be overcome. And maybe by that other account getting shut down, maybe I'll be a little smarter, and I'm gonna get into fewer back and forths. Yeah, this is the one. Yep, that's it. Let's roll with that. So this is the video. The Epstein files. Every day on X, somebody's saying something about the Epstein files if they're on the left. And my answer is always the same. Look, motherfucker, we have always wanted the Epstein files. We are the ones that actually gave a shit about child sex trafficking. We cared about it because we care about people. These left-wing lunatics have only cared about the Epstein files as a weapon that somehow they think they can take Trump down with, which I think is absurd. Is somebody being protected? Somebody. I don't think it's Trump, but somebody is being protected. That's it. That is what got my account banned. And I'm not for canceling anybody. I'm really not. That's not something that I'm in favor of. Like, I disagreed with Officer Tatum here recently when he was complaining about Tucker Carlson platforming Nick Fuentes and, not wanting him to do that. That's what the other side does to us. I don't want to be like that. I don't really like Nick Fuentes either. And I've taken more time to listen to him so that I'm not taking him out of context. But he's not my cup of tea. He's not my kind of, conservative or whatever he claims to be. Just not my thing. But he has as much a right as anyone to put his voice out there. And you can either listen to it or not. It's a choice. And we have so many choices now. We've never had this many choices in the history of man, ever, is what you have now to take views and opinions and try to find facts. I don't know how many people really try to actually find facts anymore. Kind of disappointing, actually. But whatever that is. But yeah, that got banned. So just weird, because I think I might even put that up on Reels too, on the Reels for IG and Facebook too. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I put the same video up in multiple places, just change some wording a little bit here and there in what I post with it. And sometimes I don't. I kind of, I want some political content on TikTok, but I want more of my business stuff on TikTok. So like when Leo does me a video from today of me just going after some of these stupid influencers and the dumb exercises they're showing people to do, that that'll be one for TikTok for sure, And then X and others, are where I put more of my political stuff. But I try to spread it around. I do. And I appreciate all of you that follow me on the different platforms, whatever your favorite one is. That works for me. Whatever content you like the best, that's what I'm grateful for. And if you don't like the content, man, if you engage and tell me I suck, thank you. Thank you. I need more of you too. We have an election coming up, just a couple of, tomorrow? Tomorrow. We vote tomorrow.
What for?
Well, we have some props in this area.
Oh, like the
different things like that.
Yeah.
But in some areas, they have, gubernatorial in a few places. Some other open seats that are going to be contested. It's not going to be as big as next year, which is the midterms, but there's definitely going to be some. And the biggest one that everybody's talking, well, there's two, and that's New York City mayor race. And then we also have the Virginia governor's race. And along with that, some of the other places in Virginia, like lieutenant governor, attorney general. And that's where we had that candidate for attorney general that said that he wished his opponent got, that if he had two bullets, he would, prefer both of them to be used on his political opponent. It was just he's something that he said and has only feebly tried to apologize for. And nobody's really, on the other side hasn't really told him, like, look, dude, you're going to drag down the whole ticket now. And the Virginia race is super interesting, and it must be interesting because Barack Obama's gotten involved in that. He's campaigning. And so some people have some interesting things to say about this. And so we have a few clips that we can play and talk about that too. So let's do the one where Winsome Sears is on the debate stage first. And then we'll get back to this other one about the NAACP. Yeah, this is a good one. So this is candidate for the Republican Party for the governor in Virginia.
Everybody knows I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian before I'm a Republican, and I'm required to forgive people. And it's hard sometimes when somebody has abused you, etc., but it's something you must do, because not to forgive is almost like, as someone said, you drink poison thinking that it's going to affect the other person. And I want to live a decent life, and I don't want to not have peace in my life. And so as I've said before, I would not say that. So that's why I'm wondering why my opponent won't say, beyond its abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race, because Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls. What would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race, Abigail? You have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your three children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor. Well, I think as everybody knows, I'm a Christian.
If that doesn't I mean, she's very, very polite, but she asked the hard question, and just ignoring her probably wasn't the thing to do. The right thing to do would be to condemn what Jay Jones had said. That just is not the kind of person, somebody who advocates for the murder of his political opponent and his family. You want that person to be the attorney general of your state? That's just insane, man. And Barack Obama, who told people, right? Barack Obama, who told people that, or told young black men, anyways, that they should vote for the black woman, he's now saying, don't vote for the black woman, vote for the white woman. Because the black woman is a conservative. So it's not really about race. It's about what party you're affiliated with. And I came across this sentiment by this Kimberly Blakes, who had just a really good opinion that she put out there about this. You got to remember the NAACP at one point, I don't know how many years ago it was, but they had a white woman who was pretending to be black, and people bought into it. And then she got exposed for not actually being black. Just crazy stuff. Like, really? That's a thing? Yeah, she pretended to be black. Did you pull that up? Did you find that in AI? Isn't that funny shit, dude? Is that crazy?
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah. Look, she changed her name. Was that supposed to be a black name? Ain't no black women named Rachel. That's not a thing. Nkechi Amare Diallo? Who the fuck came up with that? She was born white to white parents. See, she was president of the Spokane, Washington chapter. So you had a white woman pretending to be black. You know, there's got to be something mentally fucking wrong with you. But you're allowed to, I mean, she just did it too soon. If she did it today, it'd all be good because you can identify as whatever you want.
She was ahead of the game.
She was ahead of the game. She was before her time, brother. So this isn't too long, but it's very good. We'll hear what Kimberly Blakes, what she has to say about this as well.
So I just read that the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People have endorsed a white candidate over a black one. I didn't want to say nothing about this, but I have got to. I cannot let this go. Now, this organization came about for the advancement of colored people. But as you can see, it's never been about colored people. This is about the democratic cause. This is about Marxism and socialism. They don't care nothing about colored people. That woman is blacker than black could be, and they are not going to endorse her because she is on the Republican ticket. They would take any other race over a black person. The reason this is a problem is because they are for the advancement of colored people. It's in the name of their organization. Now, this is the problem that I have, because the civil rights movement was essentially a Trojan horse. We all know this because Chad Jackson is bringing light to all of this. So the civil rights movement was a Trojan horse. Had nothing to do with blacks. What they did was use us because we're the most emotional group. All you have to do is tell us that we're victims and everybody hates us and everybody's crying. They slumped over. They can't seem to get nothing done. The moment you say the word nigger, they somewhere bent over crying. They can't stand it. They pick it out in the streets, burning everything up, will vote for whoever you stand up in front of them because they have been told they are a victim. But now we're seeing it. Oh, we're seeing it all. We're seeing it all so very clearly. Oh, they just love the black people. Barack came out and told the black men, you should be voting for Kamala Harris because she is a black woman. Well, we actually have an actual black woman here, and he did not endorse her. Kamala Harris did not have enough melanin to even pass for black. She never even called herself black. She has been an Indian the entire time, but he said she's a black woman and black folks need to vote for her. But now you have an actual black candidate and they will not endorse her because she's on the opposite side of the aisle. She's on the side of the aisle that is saying you should work for what you want. Nobody owes you anything. You are not a victim. You can do the same thing that anybody else can do. She's on the side of the aisle that is standing for traditional family values, and they do not like her. Oh, but see, this is what they were told in the 60s. Oh, they were told this in the 60s and the 70s that, all these civil rights movements that all took on the title of and they don't even know Jesus. They all took on the title of pastor so that they could fool the church. And they came right into the church, and because half of the church was asleep and lacked discernment, they allowed it to happen. They invited these people to stand up there and speak because they were saying what they wanted to hear. They were scratching their itching ears. And now look at what we have. A whole Democratic Party full of witches, queers, and all kinds of crazy fairies and loons, and you got born-again, blood-washed believers standing right alongside them because they're being promised free stuff. What a joke. It's an absolute joke. The NAACP is a joke. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, all jokes. And I don't care if you get mad at this. People get mad and they get online and they're making videos and they're splicing up mine and they're talking all that trash about me, but ain't one of them tagged me in it. Ain't one of them tagged me in it. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. I'm going to tell the truth. God is exposing this, and he's going to continue this exposure because these people are worshiping their skin. They have made it an idol. They have made it a God. And God said there will be no other God before me. But somehow you think that your skin is a God, and your skin cannot save you. These people told you you were a victim, and they're being paid, and people are giving them kickbacks and all kinds of funding and everything for the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and they're endorsing a white woman because she's going to give them free stuff. Now, where did I lie? Show me the lie.
That kind of stuff is just so powerful to me. She says it very clearly. Again, how you choose a white woman over a black woman when you're an organization that's supposed to promote black women or black people in general? You know what that would be like? That would be like the feminist organization, endorsing a man. And a man who's a man, not a man who's trying to be a woman man, but a man. Oh, we got to support women. But except for this time, because the woman is conservative, you got to support so what's it really about? And, finally, I think that's why Trump was able to tap into this and why he's been able to change and increase. Because like it or not, I don't give two shits whether they like it or not, but Trump got more of the minority vote his first time around and increased it the second time around than any other Republican candidate has ever gotten. And it may not be more than the Democrat got, right? That the Democrats instill some of them, edging out Trump by a little bit. But Trump increased that and decreased the lead that they had previous to this. He did it because it finally waking up that, and I actually had a conversation like this with a new client the other day, that because of his skin color, his skin tone, and the number of times that he's a conservative, and so is his wife. and Indian background, ethnicity, dentist, really nice guy, and people just assume because of the color of his skin, they talk to him. He was telling me about it. They just assume that I'm a Democrat. And when you're a dentist, you know, you want to provide dental services to everyone, no matter what your political views are. Where for me, I've handled it differently. You know, I wanted to handle liberals' money, and I did. But I also put myself out there and my views out there and attracted enough people that liked me and liked my views. You know, I think people want to do business with people they like and they trust. And that I didn't need everybody. I didn't need to do that. I had a friend who owned a business I graduated with. He took over his father's business and just like quadrupled it or more, like 10x the business. Did a phenomenal job with his father's business. And I know his dad would be very proud of him today for what he's done. But, you know, he wanted the services that he provided, heating and air, he wanted to do that for everyone. So sometimes when issues would come up, he didn't really give his real view. I knew what his real view it was because he told me one-on-one, and he would thank me even for, man, I'm so glad you're doing it. I just can't do that. I'm like, it's good. I got this. I need no help. I'll put myself out there. And I did. But that's just how I believed in doing it versus another. But it's just crazy that people, the real racist comes out. The real racist comes out. And I think that's what we're seeing in what she was alluding to, or not really even alluding, what she was directly pointing out. That's real racism right there. And expecting there's no more racist thing in the world than thinking that all black people should vote and think a certain way. That is the very definition of bigotry. I don't care what the minority group is. Yeah, there may be a percentage that favors one thing more than another or one party more than another, but to just label people, if you're black and you don't vote for the Democrat, you're voting against your own interests. They accuse women of doing that, white women of doing that, conservative white women of doing that. They accused young black men of doing that, and Barack Obama was the one that accused him. It's just insane to me. That's where the real racism has lied, and it's been that way actually my whole adult life. It's been like that. But maybe, like, what have they given you? What have they provided for you? Has the free stuff meant that much to you? Are you better off now? And the answer is no. I want to see everybody. I'm just going to do me. And doing me means that I'm going to do how I was raised. And I was raised that everyone was equal, that it didn't matter about the color of your skin. And I make judgments on people on the individual themselves. And skin color is not on the list, and if it were, it'd be the very last thing because it just doesn't matter to me. I think it's the most condescending and most terrible thing to say that, oh, well, you can't advance. You can't do well. They want to keep you down. You're a victim. You can't make it. Now, I did, but you can't. You need our help. You're not smart enough to be able to get a voter ID. You're not smart enough to get an ID. I mean, so many things. I was just checking in the other day for an appointment to get some blood work done. I had to, besides my insurance card, they have these self-check-ins now. I had to put my driver's license up there, front and back. What do people do? They don't say, well, I don't hear them saying, well, they shouldn't do that because people won't have it. Black people don't get their driver's license. They're not capable. That's the dumbest motherfucking thing I've ever heard. It's so condescending. And about now, you're like, yeah, this isn't who I am. And I'm grateful for that. And those people that want to, like, you are capable. Doesn't mean there's not problems. Doesn't mean that, everything is fair or going to be fair or that you're going to start out the same place. None of that shit. But you got to get in the game and, you're going to have setbacks, just like I've had setbacks of all different kinds. And what do? Yeah, I may moan about it for a minute, like I'm moaning about TikTok, but I don't dwell on it and I keep going. I do it again. It's like climbing up a steep hill and you slip. You're 60% up the hill and you slip and you go 40% back down the other way. And there ain't nothing you can do about it but start to climb back up again. That's all you can do. So just do that. And maybe you'll learn something from the fall. That's what I believe and what I think should be happening. But right now, we're talking about communism. We're talking about socialism, and it's right in our face. They are not hiding it anymore. In this New York City mayoral race, you have a candidate who stood there with an imam. There's video of it. And the things that this imam said, and this imam was a character witness for one of the people related to the blind sheik, who was related to the 9/11 bombing, was a character witness for that dude. And just the things that he's said, they are not trying to hide what they're trying to do. The radical Islam is trying to take over, and they want to take over the Democratic Party. They don't like Democrats either. So just like MAGA, how we kicked out the old neocons, they're kicking out the old traditional Democrat. And a lot of people are embracing it. I think it's insane, the number of young people embracing socialism. But they'll learn the hard way. They definitely will. Because there's a bunch of us that we're just not going to let that happen to our country. But they're not hiding it anymore. They're blatantly telling you what they want to do. So beware, be steady. Do your thing, take care of your family, love on your family. But be ready to defend what you believe in your house and your family. That's what I have for today. Appreciate you all. Hit that like button, hit that follow button. Hit me up on social media on X, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting.